And welcome back. Welcome back. It is three the hallway. Tariq Rashad, married man Rob with a bachelor's in arts and science.
You smart.
I don't know what John going by
Switch
today.
it up. Just switch it up, John, bro.
Switch it up, John. You need to just coin that right there.
Respectfully.
Switch it up, John. Over next to me, it's Three the Hard Way. Please like, subscribe, share Three the Hard Way on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and all any other outlets where you get your podcast. But we are here. We are in good spirits. I'm in good spirits. How you guys feeling today?
Listen, man, I'm blessed and highly favored. This is how I feel today, man.
Rob catching the Holy Ghost, man. I'm just out here, man. I'm feeling good. Feeling good. We got NYC basketball around the corner. We got the Eastern Enforcers tournament coming up. I'm living, man. Summer basketball is lit for me.
Summer basketball is lit. I actually checked out one of the high school AAU tournaments on Monday. Some ballers out here, man. We need to hit the pavement. You know what I mean? See what's going on with some of these ballers, something that we plan on doing this summer. But in the meantime, we're gonna talk to you about the top of the tops, the elites of the elites when it comes to sports. NBA Finals is underway. Last time we spoke, we didn't speak about the end of the Eastern Conference or the Western Conference. Well, we didn't talk about the Western Conference. I think Phoenix is already in by that point. But Milwaukee is in now, beating out Atlanta in 6. They won those last two. Well, they won their last game without Giannis. Giannis back in the lineup for game 1. Phoenix with a W. Chris Paul, 32 points. Chris Middleton, 29. DeAndre Ayton, I believe he had 22 and 19. 22 and 19. Giannis, I believe, was somewhere around 19 and 18. Somewhere in that range. Am I right or wrong? I'm not exactly sure.
20 and 17.
20 and 17. I was close. I was off by 1 on each way. But NBA Finals is here, man, guys. Well, how'd y'all feel game 1? What do y'all see going into the rest of the series? Predict the series if you can, but give me a synopsis of how you feel about these NBA Finals.
Man, NBA Finals, it's one of the finals that is unpredictable. Going into the season, I don't think any of us would have predicted that this would have been the finals. So, I'm really just taking it game by game and just enjoying the fact that there's no, to me, clear-cut favorite. I can see a world in which both teams win, depending on how it goes. So I think, I'm just enjoying the fact that it's a sense of unpredictability. Game 1, very interesting. Giannis was a game time decision, but I also feel like he might have felt like he was going to play even if they were just holding back the information for the media sake. And to me, what I saw a Chris Paul led team that Chris Paul was like, listen, I don't get these chances all the time. So I'm really going to hone in on the moment and make sure that I make my stamp and really try to capitalize on the situation because they don't happen every day. And you saw that throughout his play, his ability to control the game. And, to me, if I were to predict it, I'm going to go Phoenix in 6.
Damn.
I see similar, definitely Chris Paul leadership throughout the whole game, making the game easier for everybody, making the right plays. The tone he set. They didn't come out like they was unpoised. They came out poised. They executed down the stretch. They executed throughout the whole game, and they look like they've been there before. Even though it's been their first time being there, and actually their first time making the playoffs, and so many years. So that just goes to show. And I have to give Chris Paul his respect when respect is due.
Put some respect on my name.
I know I've been on the Devin Booker train, saying that he's like the greatest scorer, top 5 scorers of all time.
Top 5 talent.
That being said, he would not be where he's at right now without Chris Paul and Monty Williams. And that's been apparent these last couple of games. 40 the game to close out the series, the Suns against the Clippers, and then you come out and drop 32 in the first game of the NBA Finals. Chris Paul has been here. He's like, it's about time and trying to capitalize on his opportunities. For me, outside of Chris Paul, I really feel like DeAndre Ayton is underappreciated. He's really stepping up and been big time this whole playoffs, but now especially in the finals, to come out against a big squad, right? Like the Bucks are big. You got Giannis, you got Bobby Portis, and you have Brook Lopez. Most of them guys are 7-footers. And his ability to finish around the rim, his ability to get 18 boards, to dominate down there in the paint, and to play his role effectively, man, he's a major factor to the reason of their success. And I think that the Suns have a dynamic duo, and possibly with Chris Paul there, they can be playoff contenders for years to come, especially with those other guys playing well with Jay Crowder, Cam Johnson, who's a young gunner. You got Cameron Payne behind Chris Paul, learning the ropes. So Phoenix future looks pretty bright outside of Chris Paul. What I've seen from Milwaukee is that injuries really are the theme of the playoffs. Giannis even himself said he wasn't thinking that he was going to be able to come back and play for game one. He thought he might have been done for the rest of the series. But he wound up coming back and playing. So that was amazing to see him on the court. I need to see Jrue Holiday step up. He shot 4 for 14 last night. Or in the game one, he shot 4 for 14. And he's been like that throughout the playoffs. But he needs to be more of a irritant on defense and also just being more aggressive going to the rim on offense. Chris Middleton definitely stepped up and showed out. Brook Lopez did his thing with 17 points. So it's really about Jrue Holiday and the rest of those guys, Pat Connaughton and Bobby Portis, and I can't wait to see what game 2 is going to look like.
Yeah, my lineage with Chris Paul, when he was drafted, I liked him. He took the first time he went to the playoffs, he took the Lakers. I believe it was 6, right, Rob? New Orleans Hornets. The Lakers, the 6, right? The coming out party for Chris Paul, accompanied by Gennaro Pargo, right? And since then, my criticisms for Chris Paul was great player, not durable, doesn't make the Western Conference Finals. He does it in Houston. He does it here. Check. Never been to the finals. And my biggest critique of Chris Paul has always been he doesn't try to score enough. He gets everybody else involved, but if Chris Paul act like he could give you 25, 30 a game, he would be that much more dynamic. It's funny how, you get in the older age, because 36 is not old, as I hit the 30 mark. 36 is not old, but as he gets into his older age, he slowed his game down. Even if you look back to last year with OKC, in the fourth quarter, the second half, when he he's always controlled the tempo of the game, but when it was Lob City, it always had to be a speed thing. And then maybe Chris Paul could be magical and make Blake Griffin look like the superstar that we need him to be, and make DeAndre Jordan look like a 20-10 guy or 15-10, a 15-15 type of guy, even though he's really not that offensively talented. This year, Chris Paul has kind of put it all together. He helps DeAndre Ayton get easy baskets. He makes sure that he scores the ball. And then if he wants to take a step back, like you said, John, Devin Booker is one of the more dynamic scorers in today's game. I'm not going to give him all time as of yet, but I will say one playoffs, one finals. That's a pretty good track sheet right there. But yeah, he has the options around him to be a dynamic scorer, a dynamic passer, dynamic floor general, and I think he's put it all together this year. I will agree with you, John. Injuries have played a huge part. And I also want to say for DeAndre Ayton, although he's shown out these playoffs, I think he's the most athletic big coming out of the West this year. If you look at the 3 matchups they had, the first series against the Lakers, Andre Drummond played 10 to 12 minutes a game. He didn't really see the court. He's not that athletic, but that would have been somewhat of a matchup. It wasn't. The second series, as good as Joker is on offense, he's a defensive liability. He's slew foot. He did lose some weight this year, but he's still not agile. Or he doesn't have the acceleration to keep up with someone like DeAndre Ayton. And then last series, Zubac in and out of the lineup, still not that athletic of a big. So he's been the favorite in his matchups, and he's taken advantage of it. And I applaud him for that. And now, even here, Brook Lopez, another slew foot person who's offensively helpful, and you see why he gets 25 to 30 minutes on the court. But there's a guy on the other side that got 22 points and 19 rebounds. So if you can't stop that, no matter what you do with Devin Booker or Chris Paul, you're gonna have a long day. You're gonna have a long night. So I do like the Suns right now. I think Chris Middleton is going to average the most points in the series simply because he's going to have to. He's the only one on that side of the ball that can find his own shot. And the unsung thing for me this playoffs is Chris Middleton coming into his own and being able to say, I will try to carry my team. It's not Giannis has to do it all. Chris Middleton actually takes a lot of the brunt of offensive play sets and things of that nature. My one critique, Mike Budenholzer, you got to call more plays than halfback dive for Giannis. Mm-hmm. It's literally like watching football. Giannis get the ball out of spot. All right, can I make it here? Can I beat him to this edge? Power, stunk. No power, nothing. So it has, you have to be more dynamic for your superstar. A little late to be saying that. It's gotten them this far. But if Jrue Holiday has bad nights, if Chris Middleton can't put up 40 and hit every tough shot that he takes, if you're not getting 4 and 5 threes from Portis and Forbes, you're in a tough situation. If you don't have any really good go-to sets, intricate sets for your best player when you're playing against a guy like Chris Paul, who's been in the game for 16 years and seen so many different sets and play calls, you're gonna have to make it a little bit more complex, a little bit more complicated. Or I think Phoenix has a good chance of not being a great individually. They don't have great individual talents on defense, but as a team, they swarm well and they'll keep Giannis out of the paint as much as they can. On the other end, Chris Paul can't get I understand why Milwaukee switches everything because they have 4 really good to great defenders on the court and Jrue Holiday, Giannis, PJ Tucker, and Chris Middleton. But if you switch everything, you're kind of giving the point guard his choice. He gets to pick his poison. You're dealing with one of the best point guards in NBA history. He carved you up game 1. If you continue to let him do that, he will carve you up 2, 3, 4, however many he needs to win the series. So my pick before the series got Milwaukee in 7. I think I'm going to take Phoenix in 6 now.
Guaranteed.
I'm looking like after watching game 1, if they don't make those adjustments both offensively and defensively, Milwaukee's going to be in for a long series. They may be able to pull 1 or 2 out, but Phoenix looks like the better overall team right now.
Yeah, I didn't say my pick. I forgot about that. But I got, Dario Saric is out with a torn ACL.
Ooh, ACL on that play?
Yeah, he tore his ACL.
Jeez.
So, he does a great job of stretching the floor in defense for Chris Paul and the rest of those guys when DeAndre Ayton is out. So I'm really interested to see how the offense is going to flow without that stretch big, whether that's going to be Jay Crowder or whatever. But I honestly feel like, this was Giannis's first game back from a thoughtful, who we thought was going to be a season-ending injury. Mm-hmm. And he felt confident on that leg. He looked like he was moving well. You can tell that he
in that block.
That
block. Yeah, you don't do that if you don't feel too comfortable.
Exactly. So, game 2, I feel like he's going to play with more confidence, and that's going to give Milwaukee that offensive boost that they need. Like I said, the only person that really played bad that game out of the starting 5 was really Jrue Holiday. So if Jrue Holiday has a 10 for 14 night, that can be the difference maker in winning and losing a game. He's going to be the X factor for this whole playoffs. That's going to be my key for it. He's going to be the X factor, whether he can produce night in, night out consistently. And I'm going to go with Jrue Holiday. I've been saying it for the last 3 years. I feel like he's the most underrated player, and I think that he's going to prove himself this year. It's no harm, no foul against CP3. I really want to make him win the championship or wish him to win a championship, but I got the Bucks winning in 6.
That's a bold statement.
Yeah, I'm really quick. I do agree with you, John. I think Jrue Holiday is the barometer test or the litmus test for the Bucks. When he plays well, they typically win. And when he doesn't, they need heroics from Giannis or Middleton or Bryn Forbes or whoever the case may be. So I'm gonna keep my eye on Jrue Holiday.
Yeah, definitely an X factor. Taking a step back away from the NBA Finals. In the Eastern Conference, you had Milwaukee and Atlanta. I think Atlanta shocked the world making it to the Eastern Conference Finals, to be 100%. I don't think anyone had them in that position to start the year. I know damn sure we didn't have them in that position to start the playoffs. If 2 of us on this panel had New York beating them in the first round, So shout out to Ice Trey.
Ice Trader.
Shout out to Clint Capella. Shout out to my boy Kayvon, who didn't have a good last 2 games, but Kevin Herter. Apologies, the Bogdanovich. I was hating on him earlier. He actually had the best game 6 on the team. So, but the conversation here is Nate McMillan dropped by the Pacers 2 years ago. Signs as an interim coach for Atlanta this year when they fire their head coach, and now he's officially the coach of the Atlanta Hawks.
That's what I'm talking about.
So, do we see Atlanta being good? Right. First and foremost, congratulations to him, Nate McMillan. My black coaches on this show, and I think we all felt like he was done wrong last year. I think that was we were all on the same page there. I believe we all thought that he was kind of dealt foully in Indiana. So now that he's the head coach of the Atlanta Hawks, what do you guys see there? Is Atlanta, do they need to make a big splash? Do they need to trade some pieces away? Do they need to go back at it with what they have and hopefully they get a heavy DeAndre Hunter back? Is that what we're looking at? What do you guys think?
I think the biggest offseason question for Atlanta and just going forward is what are they going to do with John Collins? He's due for a really big payday this offseason. Whether they're going to keep him and, try to make some money and clear up, like trade Danilo or something like that, or maybe they want to go a little bit smaller and let go of Clint Capella. But I think that's the biggest domino. Aside from that, I think Atlanta has a very strong youth group. They have a very nice core, and they have a lot of room to grow from within. You look at players like DeAndre Hunter, who was at times their second best player throughout the season. He missed most of the playoffs. You look at a player like Cam Reddish, who was a lottery draft pick, and he had an amazing game 6. And like you look the way that he played, it was like I told you I could have did this. I don't know why I didn't believe me. They still got Trae Young, got room to grow just as far as his leadership. So I think they keep that core together. And, they roll the dice again to see what they can do with a healthy squad. I don't think they need to do too many moves otherwise. And I think Nate McMillan did a really good job of making the sum of the parts be greater than the whole.
Yeah, I think the best move for them would be to find out whatever juice they got going on in Phoenix when it comes to making sure these players got the fountain of youth. First they had it with Steve Nash. Now you got it with Chris Paul. Like, they just need to figure out what's going on over there and bring that to Atlanta, because the only thing that's stopping them really is health and potential. John Collins played amazing basketball this year after they got Nate McMillan. Him and Trae Young figured it out. Clint Capella from not wanting to play with the Hawks and now being a staple piece. And then you still have the growth in players. Like I could still see Kevin Herter getting better. You got Bogdan. Cam Reddish barely got an opportunity to show you what he was really about.
He wasn't a part of the lineup.
Exactly. And you still got Daniel Hunter, who pretty much only played maybe like 12, 14 games throughout the season. So once again, this is all health issues, health related. Bogdan was hurt. Cam Reddish was hurt. Daniel Hunter was hurt. Capella missed a couple of games. So they really have to just stay healthy, figure out, get these guys on a good regiment, train them up, and then, run it back next year. I think the only thing that I would suggest them do is to get another big outside of Clint Capella. But outside of that, like, they're a perfect fit of what the NBA is going for right now. You got you have a great point guard with a whole bunch of interchangeable wings that can play 4 through 5, that can play 4 through 2. So, like, they are right for the position. And Trae Young spreads the court so well that you have to collapse on him, and then he kicks it out to the shooter. So I just can't wait for what the future holds for them next year.
I like the team. I'm a little wary at how young their core is. I think they need a little bit of leadership, and no offense to Lou Will and Danilo Gallinari, but those guys, their leadership qualities have always been, we can score. Not really lead a team, but we can score. Danilo can hit some tough shots, and so can Lou Will. I think they do need to move one or two of those pieces. One, because these guys are going to want to get paid eventually. You may put yourself in an OKC, Russell Westbrook, Serge Ibaka, James Harden, Kevin Durant situation with all of that young talent on that team, especially in those 2 to 3 roles with uh, Bogdanovich, Herter, Hunter, Danilo, Lou Will, and Cam Reddish. That's a lot. And those are 6 guys that can ball. Cam Reddish showed us in small spurts what he's capable of, but he's someone that I would like to see average something around 25 to 27 minutes. So I want to see a move be made, and I think if they can get a little bit better in leadership, that team can get even better. They would look even stronger going into the season. No disrespect to where they finished this year, but I like Atlanta. I think they have pieces to move, so I'm very curious as to what they do this offseason. Rob, I think you're 100% right. You have to figure out that John Collins, Clint Capella situation because it's already a very intricate meshing of 2 players that, John Collins isn't truly a shooter, but he can hit some jump shots. Clint Capella is not really leaving around the rim, both offensively and defensively. So it's something that can be done there to make that mesh more, or maybe, getting rid of one or letting one walk. Very interested in Atlanta this offseason. Very interested. But that is our first segment. Like, share, subscribe, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We out here. We'll be back with our second segment in a second.